and welcome back to Build One of the Boys. Excited because we've got issue 34 of Build the Ecto1. Now, this came really quick. I say that, it's still been delayed, but what I mean by that is it came quick from dispatch notification to this has been 2 days, which is lightning fast for Eagle Moss. Normally you wait like 2-3 weeks for these things to turn up, but so yeah, really wasn't expecting it. So in this one we are going to be finishing the gurney. We're adding that final leg to the gurney, then the gurney's done, and then we are starting on the light bars that go on top of the vehicle. It's going to be interesting, this one. The light bars are made in 2 parts, make 1 light bar. So you get the complete front light bar, and you get half of the rear light bar in this one. I don't know if I'm going to make half of a rear light bar to wait God knows how long for Eagle Moss to send the next parts, because it will have loose gears on it. I'll decide that when I come to it once I've built the first one. There is a bit of messing about with picking the car up, putting the car down, picking the car back up again, so I'm not going to be doing that either, because on the first stage of building the light bar, it asks you to bring the car up and screw 2 feet to the side of it, then put the car away and carry on building the light bar. So I'm not doing that. That part can wait until I get to actually mounting the light bar, because the weight of this thing, I'm not interested in keep picking it up and down. I'm just not, and my work surface isn't going to take, I don't have the space to do it. So I'm literally leaving that part to the till I get to part 130, I believe it is, we're install the light bar. Having a quick look through the magazine, I can show you what's coming next month. I mean, this is common knowledge at this point because a lot of this was available online, but here you can see what is coming next month. And what we tell from that is that's the remaining part of light bar number 1. That would be this section here. That's going to be the remaining parts of light bar 2. And then here is going to be the frame for the roof gear. This is the large white box that goes on the roof gear, and then we've got some of the widgets and lights and whatnot that will be going up there. So that's what's coming in issue 35. There's only 2 issues after that. So all of the roof gear, the ladder that goes on the side, the 2 grey tubes which go on the opposite side to the blue tube of the car, the aerial, I don't know what else, but that's all got to come in those next 3 issues. So yeah, so it's only a total of, let me think, so we've got 4, 8, 9, so we've got 11 parts left after this one. When you bear in mind one of those parts is the light bars, the last 10 parts are all of the roof equipment are going to be done in those last 10 parts. So the things that are missing so far, the ladder's missing, the grey tube, so I've got the poster up, I'm looking for reference. We've got the 2 large green, they look like gas tanks, either side of Ecto, and a few other bits and pieces. The aerial, which goes from the top all the way to the back, is going to have to go on this vehicle at some point. And there's 2 of those. There's 2 areas, there's 1 on either side. So those are going to be coming as well. So that's it. So those will be our last 10 parts. And then we are done with this. And I can't wait, because it means I've only got to deal with Eagle Moss 3 more times. Now, Eagle Moss very bizarrely charged me twice this weekend. I don't know why, but they did. So they charged me for issue 34, which is here today. But then they also charged me for what I'm assuming is issue 35, which is a bit weird because they also charge for a binder. I don't need a binder to hold 3 more issues. So I don't know whether or not that charge is going to drop off or whether it's going to go through. Part of me hopes it just goes through and then 35 is going to come rapidly. Part of me doesn't want to pay 10 quid for a binder for the sake of 3 issues, but we'll see. Anyway, we're going to get into this one. We're going to start with finishing off the gurney from the last month, and then we're going to make a start on our light bar. I don't know what these are going to be like. I really don't. This is the last kind of working part that's going to go in the car. I'm hoping it is not as loud as the Blitzway one. The Blitzway light bars make the worst noise. Honestly, it sounds like a coffee grinder. I really hope these don't do that, but we'll get into it, get together, and guess we're going to find out. Wish me luck, fellas. Wish me luck. That's everything that comes in pack 127. We know what we're doing. This is gurney, we've done it before, but you will also need the gurney from last month. You will need that little piece that came with last month's, and these 2 Proton Pack holders here. We're going to put it all together, and by the end of this one, the gurney will be complete. Okay, so to begin with, what we're going to do is we are going to add the wheel to the leg of the gurney using 2 FM screws. Now, this is so small, I don't know if I'm going to do this on camera for you because my agent eyes did not enjoy this last month. Okay, let's line this up. Let's drive a hole through and have a wonky wheel. This might be an off-camera one, I think, fellas, because it ain't playing ball. This doesn't bode well for the month, does it? There we go. No, we're doing this off-camera. Okay, so I don't put a screwdriver through my finger. I've had to do that off-camera. Now, all we're going to do is going to add 1 AM screw to this arm here. And again, these screws are so small, they're all metallic, it's very hard for my old eyes to see where I'm going with these. There we go. So that was in place. It's where it needs to be. Now we're going to take this arm here. It's going to attach against this side here. I'm going to drive one of the longer, I'll say long, they're not exactly long, they're longer than some of these other screws. An ABM screw. ABM. So I'm going to drop a 3-in-1 because this is all metal. And again, this is, I find it bizarre just how much detail they put into this gurney. It almost has got that air of like they started making the gurney, like one of the first things they did, or a different design team did the gurney. They're like, oh no, you spent way too much on that. But it just strikes me as weird that this thing is as detailed as it is. No, I'll have this off camera. I literally can't see what I'm doing. So the gurney leg's installed. I apologise I couldn't do it all on camera for you, but again, my ancient eyes need to need glasses. They just do. So this is the leg installed. You can see this on last month's video. It's exactly the same fit as this leg. So it is available. Now I loosen mine so they will drop, because what I want to happen is that I want this to come out of the gurney and the legs to drop down. That's exactly what I want. Now I don't need this thing to be overly secure. I just want it to make that action when that happens. And it now does. So that is the completed gurney. All that's left to put on here now is the Proton Pack holders. Now again, we did this last month. I'm not going to bore you with how many YP screws got to go into these. The GP screw is going to hold these 2 parts onto there, and then I've got to put in 16 YP screws to attach them to there. I'm just going to skip through to that. You don't want to watch me put what is essentially 20 screws into this thing. Going to get that done, and we'll take a look at it. There you have the completed gurney. All done. And it almost seems rude not to, so I think we're going to have to put the Proton Packs on it to take a proper look at it. But that is the gurney complete. Let's load up the Proton Packs. Now, I was kind of hoping there'd be something that holds the wands on this thing. There isn't. I was kind of holding out hope that maybe we'd overlook something, or maybe they'd surprise us. And there's a thing there, but there isn't. So the wands are just going to drag down the side. Unless you find a solution. I mentioned a solution last month from partworkupgrades.com. I'll give you details about that at the end. But let's get these Proton Packs and let's have a look what this thing looks like with the packs on it. Have it. There is the completed gurney with the Proton Packs all in place. Looks really nice. Looks really nice. I mean, there's no denying that it does. The Proton Packs might not be the most accurate in the world, but I don't know. There's something about that all uniform there. Just really resonates with me. I think it looks great. With 128, now our gurney is complete. We can move on to our light bars. So here's everything you get in 128, and as you can see, it's a lot. These are the motors that are going to make this thing run. Oh man, we'll see about this. This one's got me nervous, really nervous. I don't know why. I think this is such a key part of the car. But again, I mean, even if it is loud, I'm not going to have the lights on very often. Mine's got a display case. It is a display piece. Okay, so we're building half the light bar here. We're basically building the gears and the guts of the light bar before adding the lights to it. So I'm going to crack on. Let's see what this looks like. These are the parts required for the first stage. So we need 2 of the gear 1 parts, 2 of the gear 2 parts, and the light bar base. So we're going to add these parts in the same sequence here to this. We'll then take a look at it, and then it's asking us to add lubricant to it. So our gear's in place, nice and simple. They do move smooth, and now they gave us this very odd pack of lubricant, which I'm going to apply with the cotton bud. I'm just going to add it to the wheels. Saying to do it, so I'm going to do it. And then we're going to add a cover to this section. It's done this very thick lubricant. It's like a grease, which I quite like that because it'll keep these well lubricated. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to quite simply take this part here, which is the gear cover. It's going to slot over there. And then we're going to hold that in place with 5 EP screws. So we'll screw that in, take a look at it. Now the cover installed, nice and simple, keeps your gears in place. Now what you'll see from these two here, you see these holes here, when you add these gears, make sure those are in sync. So they both need to look exactly the same, otherwise you're going to get a weird rotation happening on your light bar. You don't want that. We're going to repeat everything we've just done on this side. So I'm going to get all that done now, and then we'll take a look at it with both of the covers in place before we move on to the next step. Our gears all locked in with the gear covers in place. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add these 4 rotators, and they're going to clip onto these top gears here and here, and then we will be done with that part. We will then move on to the motor. So I'm going to add these in. These are screwed in with just BP screws. Going to do that now, and then we'll take a look. The rotator is now in place, and as you can see, turn one, the other moves. The bulbs are going to go in these, they're going to spin. Shutting the light on and off in different locations. That's how that's going to work. Really rather lovely. Now, we are going to be asked to bring the car up to put the feet on. I'm not doing that until the next issue. When we actually put this on the roof, then I'm putting the feet on. So we'll move on to the other part. Asking us to put 2 light bar supports on the feet. Now, so I'll put one on here. There's one to go on here. It's quite simple. They have included a lug on there, so you can only put it on one way. That goes on there, and we're just going to hold these in place with 2 EP screws each. Feet, we're just not installed them to the roof yet. Now we're going back to the light bar, and we're going to install the 2 gear 2s. You'll see there is a smaller gear beneath, and those are going to fit onto these stems here and here, locking those gears in place. And we'll do that now, and then take a look. At this stage is to add these 2 motors here, and they're going to sit in these channels here and here. Now you want to make sure that your rotators are all facing the same way when you put these in, because you don't want these rotating again on different pattern to these. You want them all nice and uniform. These don't screw in, they literally just slot in place, and the wires are going to trail at the back. So let's get that done. Is that stage complete? Now again, these just are rested in there. There's a part coming in the next one that holds those in place. So it's pretty much confirmed to me that the last pack of this one, you could build all of the bar, but keep your motors in your packaging, because they're not just going to sit there for a month. They're going to go missing, or they're going to come out and get damaged. So don't do that. Anyway, we're going to move on to stage 130, I think. No, we're not. We're going to move on to stage 129, which is going to finish off this light bar, and then we will mount it to the roof. So here we go with stage 139. Here's everything we get inside there. We get naturally the light bar lens. We're going to get a piece of metal we've got to fold. I'm not delirious about that because it doesn't attach to anything. We're just going to fold it around and hope it stays. Can't see that working out too well. Some 3M strips that are going to go on. We've got the piece here that's going to hold the motors in place from 130 or from 128. More stickers to hold wires in place. Oh, so we're going to have to unplug the wire from the car, bring that up, and we're going to start working on the light bar. This is the cover piece on there now, so that's holding those 2 motors into place. We're going to take these 2 cables here, and we're going to plug them into these 2 points here and here on the PCB roof lights. We're going to hold this in place just using 3 EP screws, and then that's that part of this complete. We're then going to start thinking about threading these wires through the body of this up into the rotators. So once we've got this part done, we thread the lights and the cable through the hole, and they come out here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put each one of these LEDs into a hole. So the ones on the longest wires will go to the furthest, the shortest wires will go to the shortest, and on the same on the other side. And then those bulbs are going to come up through the rotators. And then we're going to stick the PCB down with the stickers. I'm not convinced this is going to work, fellas, but hey, let's give it a go. So this is it complete. I'm going to take that holding PCB in place, got here, all these in place. Now, something I can tell you, it's one of my motors doesn't work. I've got test boards, so I was able to test it. This motor is bent. You can see that bit came out bent, and which was a concern. There's no power going to it at all. This thing is dead, like dead. Fortunately, I've been able to take the one out of the pack for 130 because I was never planning on building that one. So it's not the end of the world. Eagle Moss going to have to send me another one. But never mind, we can still crack on with the light bar. I'm going to take our light bar lens and these two pieces here are going to screw into the here and here, and to do that we are going to use XP screws. This is what a light bar now looks like inside the container. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to put a holder here for this wire. The thing that I don't mention is all this massive mess of crap of wires underneath here. Nothing really to tidy it up, so that's getting taped down. So there's our light bar complete. The burning question now, of course, is does it work? I don't know. It's time to bring up the car, give myself a hernia in doing so, plug this thing in, cross our fingers. So we brought the car up, but we've put these two brackets on here and here. They screw them with VM screws, and now we're going to mount the light bar to this. Now I have tested it, see if it is working. It is working, I can tell you in advance. It makes a fairly horrible noise, and a lot of you ain't going to be happy with it. It's not terrible, it's nowhere near as bad as the Blitzway, but it is a mechanical whir. That is noisy, man. Wow. Yeah, we need a mod. Badly. So that's it. That's issue 34 done. Now, I could build that one part. I'm not gonna, because as I said, one of the motors they sent me, this dud doesn't work. Yeah, it's noisy, innit? It's noisy. And I know just by posting this, I'm upsetting a lot of you who were kind of hoping. I'm sure a lot of you are hoping you could just have this on and these things would be just silently flashing in the background. No. I will say this, it's noisy, but it's nowhere near as noisy as the Blitzway. If you go and look at the YouTube videos of the Blitzway version of this, that thing is like, it's like a slamming, it's horrible. This is a mechanical whirring. I'm sure a mod will be available. I hope a mod is available for those of you who want to do it. It doesn't really bother me because, as I've said, this is going into a glass cabinet. Occasionally people are going to want to see this thing working, and I'm happy to show them. But ultimately, I don't care. I mean, that's I'm at peace with it. Mine just needs to look pretty. It doesn't need to do all the bells and whistles. Can I give you another quick blast of... I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll carry on talking normally. We'll turn this thing on and we'll see if it drowns my voice out. So, I'll count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not terrible. It's going to make noise. I mean, you can't have this silent. I'm sure there's some modder out there that can go, I can make that silent. Have at it, man. Have at it. Let's see you do it. Now, this is the weird thing. The gears aren't doing that. The gears are not the thing making that noise. It is those little motors. You spin the gears, they're silent. Everything's silent. The motors, it's coming from that. There must be something we can do to soften that. Whether that's pad where the motor goes or stop the vibration from it happening. I'm sure there's something we can do to fix that. Again, I'm not bothered, but I know a lot of you are. And this just reeks of Stickergate all over again. And don't shoot the messenger, man. I'm just a guy building a model. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it because, again, as I said, really, I mean, if you built the DeLorean, how many times do you fire up your DeLorean? Really, really. And if it's all the time, then yeah, get upset. But if it's once in a blue moon, make your peace with it, man. But it's up to you. It's your model. But yeah, just for shits and giggles once more. I mean, with the exception of the noise, the lights work really well. It's just the bloody noise. I don't know if we can dampen it or what. There must be someone will figure out a way to dampen that sound. If I didn't laugh, I'd cry, man. So it's it is what it is. I think it's fine. I do, because it just doesn't bother me. It's not a toy, it's a model. And again, it's going in a glass cabinet. The uplighter's going on it, and that's it. I don't want to have to keep changing the batteries on this thing, so it's not going to keep coming out and flipping it over. I'm not bothered about a power mod. Again, I don't particularly want this thing flashing lights everywhere, if that is what you bought it for. I mean, this is just something it does. This is just a nice, if anyone ever goes, oh, what does it do? I can show you. That's kind of my thing for it. No other reason. No other reason. I don't know what to tell you. They did send me a Duff motor, so I have contacted Eagle Moss already and said, you've got to provide me with a new one. So check your motors. Before you start putting this housing on, check your motors, make sure they're running. And if they're not, and if you've got one bad motor, you can still carry on with this pack. If you've got two bad motors, theoretically, you can carry on this back. 3 bad motors, you're in trouble. But mine's bent, so the one they sent me, it's you can literally see it's bent. When I took it out of the pack, I could see it was bent, and I thought, never going to work. Carried on making it anyway, plugged it in, and sure enough, just no power going to it. The one was working perfectly, that one nothing at all. I checked the other two in stage 130, and they both work fine. I've just been unlucky. Hopefully you won't be, hopefully you'll be okay. I'm not that bothered, because again, I've told them immediately I want a replacement. They're going to send me a replacement. So I'm a happy-go-lucky man. I'm not the guy that gets enraged about things. And I will say this, before you start screaming about this to them, ask yourself if you're happy with it. Because can you remember when you were all miserable with the sticker being stuck to the door? Everyone complained about it. So they said, we'll do it for you. And man, did they balls that up for us. So sometimes it's better the devil you know. So take a breath, breathe. It's just a noise, man. It's just a noise. And that's all for this week. We've got more coming up. So we've got R2-D2 coming up this week, and we have pack 6 of the Root Master. Those will be up and available. I am done with this for now. There are 3 more left to go, and I can't wait to finally put this in a glass cabinet and just have it in the corner of the room, man. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be quiet. Back again. The kids just pointed something out. Didn't even dawn on me. The kids just came in to see this and went, man, imagine how noisy it's going to be when you got 2 of them going. Oh, man. I'm sorry, people. I'm all right with it. I'm okay with it. If you're not, get angry, but please don't get angry with me, man. I'm just the messenger in a world where you can be anything. Be nice, and I'll see you next time.